Oh, here you go. Here you go. We are freaking live, man. Here on the Jarek Bryan Show live stream with the Investronaut. And buddy, how you doing, man?
Listen, I can't complain. We were talking earlier. I just got back from the gym. I've been outside walking. It's gorgeous outside, touching grass, as they say. So, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Happy to be here.
Oh no, man! I love to have you here. I loved your stuff on the timeline and all the takes that you have too as well. Though, but before we get into the takes and everything kind of like going on in Cardano and all this crazy thing, it's been actually a crazy couple of weeks. Let's get into you, man. Like, how did you get all the way here to Web3?
Man. How did I get here? I guess it started in 2017. The bull run in 2017. Heard about Bitcoin. Actually, I heard about Bitcoin way earlier in 2013. Everyone has their when I heard of Bitcoin story and didn't
Yeah.
invest. Somebody was telling me about it, talking about some guy ordered a pizza with it and all this stuff. And I looked at him and I was like, this feels scammy. I'm not interested. I'm sure like a lot of people did, right? And then 2017 rolls around, and we have this bull run. We have this Bitcoin is going crazy, and I kind of got into it that way. But then I invested in Bitcoin and Ether and XRP. I think in 2017, and then just rode it up a little bit. I didn't really make too much, and then rode it back down. As a lot of us have done. And then 2020 comes around. I hadn't really looked at my portfolio in forever. One day I decided to check it on my computer, and there's like 5 Gs in it. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, there must be something going on. So that's when I jumped back in. From there, I did research, and I ended up turning my, ETH into ADA. And I've been just like adding to that bag ever since.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Ada, the Cardano ecosystem, or like what's been the funny thing that everybody's been saying, ADA, or like that whole what was it on the crypto banner? He said ADA, and everybody kind of flamed him for that. But
Mm.
it's actually Cardano's where I got my NFT start, man. That's where I kind of like just kind of came in, right? Mutant Toads, Isometric World, Nerds and Virgins, all these other stuff, man. It was a great time, man. To be honest with you, though, but kind of like getting into Cardano, right? We've had a lot of things kind of happen, right? The NFT ecosystem, wasn't what it once was, back, a year and a half, but nobody else has been, right? And some of the problems that has kind of plagued Cardano is that, you know, we don't have like culture here, like there's no kind of like fun, and everything's more about the tech, and kind of like my thing is to, no one really kind of like cares about the tech, right? To get new people in here, and I always thought you should kind of embrace kind of like that degen meme coin like side. I thought that's a way you can kind of bring more people in. If they're interested in the tech, they'll stick around though. Kind of like the same thing, kind of like Avalanche is doing. But of course, you have a lot of people on Cardano's like, kind of like, hey, we're too good for that. Like, no, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it like kind of this way. And what's kind of your opinion on like that whole kind of like stick that Cardano has?
Uh, you know what it is. As for the first thing you said about the culture, that there isn't really much going on, a lot of bickering. I think like for people complaining that it's not fun anymore. It's like
Yeah,
make it like stop complaining about how bad things are and start creating things to make things good. Like that's the one thing that it like annoys me about Cardano, or honestly, I guess it's just the dynamics of people in general. It's like when things are bad, everybody wants to be in a shitty mood and everybody wants to like crap on everything. And when things are good, aka making money, everybody's on their high horse and they're all excited and they're all happy as long as they're getting their thing. But I think I don't know if there is a solution to that because I don't think it's Cardano specific. I think it's crypto specific. I think it's financial system specific. If you're, anytime that you're invested in something, it's about making or losing money, and if that's when you're going to care the most. So I don't know. I think, but I also think it's just part of it's the growing. The tech is there, yes, and I also, like you said, I don't think anyone gives a shit about the tech. Like
yeah.
we care
Mhm.
because we're already here. So the next level of being here is understanding why we're here and how we're going to get to the future. But nobody gives a shit about how a website turns on. Nobody cares how their internet gets to their house. They just want to be able to, press the on button and it works. So if we were able to concentrate more on having the thing work and less about what it's working on, then I think maybe we'd be able to, kind of separate the two, and maybe that'll bring down a little bit of the animosity that we have towards each other in terms of the ecosystem itself.
Yeah, definitely. And we had a lot of, you know, especially like in this past like year and a half, a lot of like kind of infighting, right? And kind of just it was a kind of a weird kind of time, certain spaces, and certain people thought that certain people like gate kept this whole thing, and no one could really grow here, and that's why all these projects are kind of like leaving Cardano, and kind of like the foundation itself is like disconnected from it's like some of these projects, right? Like kind of what they would kind of more like is that actually the foundation to be more active, be willing to kind of put their neck on the line, for some of these kind of like projects, like retweeting, things like that, kind of embrace that. So even with Charles too as well. I mean, he had a little bit with the Ape Society. He's been on some spaces too, and he's done. I'll put you this way: he's done a lot better. I've seen him on a lot more spaces. He's going to Solana spaces. They just kind of want the whole Cardano Foundation and Charles himself to be more active and be more willing to accept the NFT, the meme coin ecosystem. It almost like feels like at that time, or even a little bit now, that they don't really kind of like want to. You get kind of like that same kind of vibe.
I, I, a little bit, but I'm just confused. I don't understand what it is that the community expects Charles to do, and maybe I'm a little bit in the bubble because I don't know who's like the head of Solana, or obviously Vitalik is Ether, but like, are they actively participating in the community on social or anything
Mhm.
like that? Like, are we mad at Charles for not specifically promoting a specific brand? Like, do you expect him to go to each collection or each project and say something about it? Like, I
Correct. I think that's what they're wanting.
but that's ridiculous. That expectation is ridiculous. First of all, the man, okay, the man is a billionaire, I think, at this
Yeah, so
point,
pretty much.
right? He runs like 7 separate companies. The guy is an entrepreneur, and he's doing this thing with Cardano, which is awesome, but he's doing other things as well. And I think for the fact of him being who he is and what he does and everything else that he's responsible for, the amount of engagement that he gives and the amount of props that he gives to a certain project, if he feels the need to, because again, he's also human. Like, he might like something, he might not like something,
Hmm.
but it's like, he's not the savior. He's just the guy that's building this thing and trying to usher ADA into the future to help the overall world. To me, he probably thinks that NFTs aren't really, at least NFTs from the JPEG degen side, is like the lowest level of what ADA has to offer as an ecosystem. And you can even see it like between the last bull run and this bull run. I'm sure the next bull run, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to have a successful NFT collection, especially if it's just for art. Like, that'll always exist, but it's going to be harder to rise the ranks as a top collection if you don't have something that comes along with it. So yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, even Vitalik said it too as well when like, the whole NFT, kind of summer, thing kind of popped off. He's like, I made this technology, right? We were working so hard on this thing, and you guys are making JPEG monkeys. He's like, that's kind of you know what I mean? It was kind of he's kind of like a
yeah.
little backhanded thing too as well. So yeah, I get it though. And I guess I don't know what people's like real like expectation is. I think that like they said like they want the foundation to be like more kind of supportive, right? They do want kind of like Charles to actually have an open mind about the NFT scene too as well. But even then, like when Sneck kind of first came out, like yeah, it was like accepted though, but it kind of took a while though, right? It was um kind of like real slow. Like maybe that's not there. And then all these other like meme coins like popped off too as well. And in your opinion, do like meme coins and things like that, is that good for an ecosystem, or like what do you kind of take on that?
Meme coins, I think it's good short term. I
Mhm.
think it's, I wouldn't say detrimental, but long term, there's no play there. Like, nobody is going to have a long term meme coin play portfolio
Yeah.
necessarily. Like, yeah, there'll be some meme coins that you got into, you enjoy the community, you still kick it every once in a while, and you stay with them. But like as for an investment, if that's what you're here for, like there's no way a meme coin is going to give dividends the way that other opportunities in the ecosystem does. So like, yeah, I think it's fun. I think people get liquidated. I think people get their balls kicked in.
Now, this guy right here.
But yeah,
This
well,
guy right here.
you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. So I still got the ice on my crotch, but I it I don't know. Short term, no. Long term, I mean, sorry. Short term, what was it? Short term, yes. Long term, no. Yeah, it's fun. Why do you think casinos exist?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think gambling exists? It's a fun thing, and of course, it's fun within reason. If you're going all the time and you develop an addiction, obviously you have a problem. But if you go every once in a while with some friends, it's not a big deal. I feel the same way with the meme coin place. If you got some extra money that you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna blink an eye if I lose 300 ADA. Let me throw it on this long shot that can maybe make me, 30,000 ADA. Why not? But like for the whole community to be up in roar or get mad because like their meme coin isn't getting as much
Yeah.
airtime as the next one or whatever. It's just sad. It's just like it's not up to the foundation to help to prop your business up and help the people that you took money from with the selling of a collection. It really isn't. If your product is dope and you know how to run a business, you're not going to need help from anybody or anyone. So yeah.
Yeah, that too, though. But it's always like and people have said that, right, and said almost the same thing that you said too as well. But the kind of like rebuttal to that is that, well, that's why that Cardano is always going to be like boring, or kind of like the missionary sex, chain of all the other blockchains, because it's just basically everyone's here talking about, of course, like midnight agriculture, like things like that, and it's just like, man, no one's going to want to come here and actually like build something, so. I'm kind of a little bit of both, though. I think meme coins do have a place, though, but also you do need to like talk about the tech, and I see no problem with talking about the tech too as well, though. But as we've kind of like had these crazy couple weeks as well, and we actually had a huge project on Cardano leave. They're going to go actually to base, and that's going to be the Ape Society. Like, what's kind of your general feeling on that?
So I'm very outside. I have a very outsider view of the whole situation because I've never owned uh, an ape
Ape
society
Society?
ape. I had a Codas, and then that dropped, and then I sold it for the low, and then I just never really went back. I think I never got into it because by time I thought
Mhm.
about it, like the price of entry was just way too high. So
Yeah,
fortunately, I never got into it. And then as the price was starting to come down, I said, if it meets this point, I'll buy one. It met that point, but then it kept going lower. And then I said, I'll get this point, so on and so forth. And then I just never got into it. And I'm, pretty happy that I did. But in terms of them leaving, listen, if you as a company think that you can do right by your business and the people that are involved in your business, whether working for you or the community that you've built, then by all means do what you need to do. But from what I've witnessed with everything that's gone on with TAS, whether it's from the founders or the community, mostly from founders, because the community will act accordingly in how the founders act, and it just seemed like a lot of times they were kind of throwing tantrums. They weren't necessarily communicating um, in the best of their ability without being so emotional, which I could also understand because when you're building something like this, it's your baby. And then when you build it and it gets this big and people start like throwing rocks at it, of course you're going to feel some type of way. But as like a founder, you should be able to put that to the side and be able to speak objectively and openly and transparently. And then everything that happened with the Soch
yeah.
and then Levy and
Hmm.
then him, the insider trading allegation. I don't even know if it's allegations or if it's fact at this point, but like everything that went down with that, it's like I just felt like they just shot themselves in the foot way too many times to the point that I don't blame the community for reacting the way that they reacted, and I don't blame them for feeling the way they feel, and I don't blame them for leaving. Personally, I think if they would have I feel like they're going from big fish, little pond to little fish, big pond,
Hmm.
right? Starting all over again. I feel like they probably would have been better off if they just stayed and just made amends in some way, you know? It doesn't have to be monetary, it doesn't have to be anything specific, but if like the founders could be like, listen, in their own words, we fucked up. This is the
Hmm.
first time that we've ever done something like this when we didn't approach it appropriately. Then maybe I think people might be like, okay, listen, they owned up to their shit. Let's see where this goes. And for all we know, they could have skyrocketed even further. I don't know what the future of Cardano holds. For all we know, we can rise to the top and they
Hmm.
could have been the top. Who knows what base is going to happen? They can switch over and they can rise to the top. They can also drop like rocks, but at least like they didn't have to go through all that to switch everything over to a whole new chain to have the opportunity of either losing or winning. So I don't know. They could do what they want. I, I wish them the best of luck. That's all I got for him.
Yeah, so well, so I would say this though too as well. Like, have you, gone around and played a little bit on base too as well, or you're kind of just hanging out more here on Cardano?
So I'm mainly on Cardano. I diddle around no diddy around Solana. You know, when the Solana casino open, I was on there
Yeah.
for a little bit. I've minted a couple things a few years ago there. ETH, I kind of stayed clear away from because just the fees, it just always scared me, especially, coming from how cheap it is on Cardano to send transactions and then going to ETH and looking at that and be like, nah, I'm good. But no, in terms of base, I have not. And I'm more than willing to. I just have no idea where to even start.
Yeah, man. It's not that like bad in that sense. It's very very young ecosystem, right? And I kind of see the writing on the wall though, especially like with some of the KOLs I follow, key opinion leaders, or people out there that don't know. It is kind of like it almost feels like this kind of early like Solana vibes before Solana became what Solana eventually ended up becoming. Right? There's a lot of people, a lot of noise, and everything like that. Now, could that be like all just white noise and whatnot? And it's just people trying to dunk on each other. Like who knows, And the whole thing with the Ape Society kind of leaving, right? And that I like projects that want to test the waters and do things and try to keep their company kind of alive, right? Kind of keep the brand alive too as well. Because I've been a part of projects that just do nothing. Like you don't hear from them at all, man. They kind of just hang out and I would rather have a project trying to be like bold and kind of go out there and kind of like show that hey guys, we're trying to push this, we're trying to actually push this brand, we're trying to move forward ever forward. So yeah, I don't blame them for that. It was the whole support thing though I kind of like disagree with, and the fact that I thought they were the most supported, but behind the scenes I don't know what they dealt with on the Cardano side. I think one of the things that they kind of harped on again, and it's been kind of the recurring thing, is that no support from the foundation. Like they felt like it was almost like a disconnect too as well. And I don't know, to me personally I thought they were the most supported, but I don't know. I don't know what's kind of do you kind of feel that way? I felt they were number one, but how'd
Yeah,
you feel?
totally. In terms of what market cap and they're number one still, right? Or
Yeah.
is
Well, I
space?
mean, kind of. Yeah, they're there. They're there. They're close. Yeah.
Well, regardless, they're at the very top. Yeah, they were number one, and I think the community, the Cardano community, like really propped them up on their shoulders. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
like I really don't feel like they even needed any more help. You're already up there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like to complain that you're number one and you're still not getting, the flowers, like that just seems silly. That seems silly to me. And everybody was rocking the PFP. That's
Yeah.
huge support. Like
Hmm.
who didn't want, especially when they were up at 15K. Like
No, I wanted one.
every everyone that didn't have one wanted one, and everyone that had one was walking around like they were big shits. Because
Eh.
for that little bit of time, you were.
Mhm.
Um, but like in terms of support, I don't know, man. Like I want to go back to what you were saying. The support, I don't think they need it. But to go back to what you were saying about moving to base, like couldn't they like instead of just moving, expanded to go along this whole lines of like, maybe there's greener pastures. Maybe we should try expanding our IP into base, opposed to just completely leaving. Like completely leaving to me feels like, a fuck you, Cardano.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Opposed to, hey, the ecosystem isn't growing at the pace that we were hoping. So we think if we bridge over to, this chain, it'll help bring more people in and blah blah blah. But no, they just said, all right, peace. You guys ain't fucking with us. We're out. And that, is kind of like, I think is shitty. But people are gonna forget, man.
Yeah.
People
Oh yeah.
people are gonna forget so quickly. So I don't think it's really that big of a deal.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I can see how people got hurt though, because like, especially in some of the spaces that I was in on the early part of Cardano, like everybody had an ape, and all the especially the big time speakers in the Cardano ecosystem, like there most of them were apes, man. So it was just I didn't really get that part though, but like I said, I don't know what would happen behind the scenes. I didn't know what exactly. I mean, maybe they didn't get a grant that they were. I don't know. Like to that right there, I still don't know. Did scoop up a couple? Of course. I mean, I was going to see because base right now it really doesn't have really much going on as far as NFT projects going on. So I thought there's a chance they can go out there and kind of like be kind of like it there. I mean, of course, that could always like backfire and like
Mhm.
and they just go straight through the ground and whatnot. But I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting. I had to grab a couple just to kind of see, like, all right, man, these guys. Let's see what they can do over there. Super active. They're already on Farcaster, which is kind of like bases, as you could say, like the arena and stuff like that. That socialify kind of like kind of deal. So they're starting to do that too. And also, like, want to ask you too is that where does Cardano go here from now? Like, where is that number one project? Does Cardano need a number one project? Like, everybody's kind of scrambling around and basically saying that question is what do we do now?
Yeah, yeah. Do we need a number one project? It would help.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like if we have one project that's like killing it and it's in the news and people from other chains are hearing about it, then yeah, of
Mhm.
course. Um, since they're gone, obviously the void is naturally going to get filled. But I don't know. I think we're in a place with a lot of collections where we're right at that point where we're kind of really getting into the utility, and maybe once that starts coming around, that'll start to indicate who's doing better, because this whole JPEG for the picture, NFT for the picture is like fading away, and you need
Yes.
utility. And there's like a bunch of those coming around or here, like Dirt Birds, they're already doing it. What is it? The House of Titans,
Yeah. The
they're
stronghold.
doing it. Yeah, a lot of staking plays, a lot of real world revenue stream plays, like over here, the Stag Alliance,
Oh
doing
yeah.
something similar like that. So I don't know. I don't think we can call it just yet. Maybe like for me, I feel like Space Buds, not because of anything that they're doing utility wise.
Mhm.
It's just known to be the number one. Whether it's technically the first collection minted on Cardano or not, I feel like it still has that the number one. And like I said, like as time goes by, the people who know the intricacies of what was really number one and what they really did is going to start to fade. And then, like, say, I don't know, 50, 100 years from now, you're just going to know that having a space bud is amazing because it was like the first one. So
Mhm.
I feel like space buds are the number one. Now, in terms of like actively doing something, I think it's anyone's game. I think Boss Cat has an opportunity if they come
Yeah.
out with the Boss
Lost
Planet.
Planet.
They've already got the Boss Moon
Mhm.
game, the app. I'm looking forward to playing that once I can start beta testing on iOS. And then Boss World, like any metaverse. If you could succeed at a metaverse, because I definitely think the metaverse is going to be the
Mhm.
future of communication, even though you don't think it is now, the same way people didn't. People were going, "What is email?" Um, so I think the companies are setting themselves up now, are doing it now to be number one in the future. So I think it could be Pavia, it could be Clay, it could be any of the top 10. Really, it could be none of them. It could be a completely new thing
Yeah.
that comes out of nowhere that nobody would have thought about it and shoot to the top. Like we have no clue.
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of like, but there is like kind of like a huge, like kind of hole right now that's it feels like it's still kind of there. I think people are still kind of reeling from it too, and kind of like the question. I think I heard a lot of people ask in the space. Some of the ones I've been on, like the ones with Dr. Oz and what's his name, a really good guy, Viva La Bitcoin, and
Mhm.
all these other guys too. Is like basically the question that kind of nobody can answer is like, where do we go from here? Like, I mean, there's this huge void now, and like, what do we do now? Like, it's kind of like everybody's kind of looking at each other, like, what do we got to do? I mean, I don't know. And I actually, and I'm on so many different chains. Like, I don't have that answer for them, man. I don't, I wouldn't know, man. And do you have any kind of idea, like, where does Cardano go from here as far as the NFT side?
I don't think there's an answer.
Yeah,
There is no answer. I don't have a clue. You don't
yeah,
have
me
a
neither.
clue. No, nobody has a clue of what's well, what the future may bring. But in terms of like the void of the apes being gone, I don't know. Maybe I'm on the opposite side of that. But like I'm on social. I'm in the discords. I'm on Twitter all
Mhm.
the time, and I don't personally feel any different. I think really only the people who were invested into it really feel that void, and I don't think there's gonna ever be a way to fill that void unless they come back to Cardano and you hold on to that asset. So like as for that, the only way to go is just to move on. Like just move on. Let's keep building. Let's keep spreading the word. Like yeah, it's 2024, right? Smart contracts came out less than
Yeah,
what 5 years. I don't even remember the, but not very
not long ago.
long ago. So like you just gotta wait, man. Like you have people that are invested in stocks, and they're waiting 5-6 years to
Mhm.
see a 20-30% increase, and we're all bitching and moaning that like our bag didn't go up 20,000% in
Yeah.
15 minutes. That's just the mentality of everyone in the system. But I think that's how it starts. Then eventually it's going to be people who are here for the tech. Eventually it's going to be companies using us for the tech, and it's going to be quiet, and nobody is going to have any clue that major infrastructures are running on it. They're just eventually going to see adoption. They're going to see it go up. I just don't think it's happening fast enough for people. So if I could just sum it all up to where we're going to go, I don't know, and no one does. But you're either in for the ride or you're not.
Hmm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and I got a spicy question for you too, as well. And actually, and I heard it being said though, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with it, and I kind of don't. But I mean, uh, do you think that some of the gatekeeping early on kind of bottlenecked some of the progress, in this kind of like NFT meme coin ecosystem? Do you think that some of the key opinion leaders on like Cardano kind of like stop people from wanting to even come here and kind of like do stuff?
So, who would these people be, and how are they preventing people? Like, how does the like? I always hear gatekeeping, 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 but I'm having a hard time understanding who is doing the gatekeeping, and what are and how are they preventing people from doing what they want to do in a decentralized ecosystem? That's the thing that I'm not getting. Like, are
I
people
can
the
tell you
ones
exactly
social?
who, and I don't mean to call them out or anything
And you
like
don't even
that.
have to. You don't even if you don't want
Yeah,
to, you don't have to.
yeah.
I'm just trying to understand like what is it that this person is physically actively doing that's preventing people from building on and on this platform.
It's basically like from what I understand, like from what like I gathered is that like the negativity on spaces, like not giving them a chance to come up on the spaces and talk about the project, like flooding like some of these projects coming in, kind of like remember when Denkatsu went to Polygon and there was like a whole uproar about that, and like kind of like it was pretty much Denkatsu just kind of cash grab, and then of course now Denkatsu with the whole Danketsu with the whole like kind of Walmart deal, and then of course House of Titans at the beginning they were flooded like crazy at the very beginning, and then now, of course, now that actually we kind of figure out that actually Apex was actually just had a plan. You just had to give him some time, and
Hmm.
that's what they kind of felt like. You had all these people jump on their backs, and it's leading by a couple of influencers, and that's what they just said. Like, what? Nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to build. No one wants to do anything because of that kind of problem. Do you think that maybe that could have, like, just stunted the growth of the ecosystem?
I so less that person saying something and more the rest of the community like jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like we have a propensity to you know, eat our own tail, destroy ourselves from in. It's
Yeah.
like we're constantly talking about this rug. We're constantly talking about, you know, this issue, this not support, this, and this. And I get it. There are issues that you want solved, but like stop just complaining about it for content because
Yeah.
we know that's the hot topic. You know you're going to get clicks. So you do it for that. And then sometimes people will do it and then they'll go in the comments and be like, no, I don't really feel like that way, blah, 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 blah. And they'll say the point of view. But it's like, that's the shit you should be saying on the post because
Yeah.
that's what people are reading and running with. So, like, it doesn't matter if somebody's gatekeeping, if somebody says XYZ, that's one person.
Yes.
This is a community of I don't even know at this point, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't know. It's hard for me to think that one person, unless they're coming around to each collection and it's like, listen, you're not dropping that mint, okay? Or you're gonna find yourself at the bottom of the lake
Yeah.
with a nice pair of cement shoes. Like, come
Would be a
on,
good
man.
idea.
It
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
feels like an excuse to why somebody is not succeeding. It's
Yes.
always a I'm not doing well. This person's doing well.
Mm.
Then you know why are they doing well and not me? Because they're probably not even thinking about what you're doing. They're thinking about what they need to do, and they're pushing it out there and they're growing. I don't know. That's
It's
that.
it's been a great. I mean, we really need this kind of like full fledged bull run to come back. I mean, we've been too bored and too busy fighting each other. So
Yeah,
it's been I don't know. It's been exhausting though. But I'm glad that there's been some more positivity. I will give it that in the space. Actually, the Cardano space. I'll give it that. The positivity has been there. We're starting to kind of like in a sense like kind of come together and starting to in a weird way like. I didn't like the Ape Society leaving, but I feel like it brought people together.
yeah.
It's in a weird way. I don't know if you kind of got that too as well.
Totally, totally. Because it gives us a common enemy. That's honestly that's how you bring people together is
Yeah.
to create a common enemy. I don't know if you've ever seen read Watchmen
Mhm.
or seen the movie, but that's literally the premise of the whole thing. Like the world is fighting, and the only reason that they were able to form peace together is because they had a common goal of fighting an alien. If you saw the book, and
Mhm.
fighting whatever disruption. If you saw the movie, um, so yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
kind of
no,
lost the
definitely.
point, but yeah,
I feel like it did. I feel like it brought people kind of to get together, but at the same time, no shade at the AIDS Society. Like I said at the very beginning, I like what they're doing. I like how they're going to go out and try to conquer another chain though. But the thing is also, um, Cardano itself, the actual token itself, people are super frustrated that it hasn't really done much, man. Like you've seen, of course, Solana like rip through the roof, right? I think Solana at one time, I believe, was like 80 like 60 to 80 bucks. And of course, it ripped all the way to 170. And of course, you had ETH doing its thing, even Matic going over $1. But you see Cardano just kind of just hanging there. And the kind of like the hope is that, Cardano would either like pass up $3, maybe even like, $5. The people are saying like $15. I don't know about that, man. That's going to take a huge market cap for that to happen.
yeah.
But now what's kind of your take, man? Are you kind of patiently waiting? Do you have a lot of ADA? Like, what's kind of your take on all that?
I'm when it comes to my investments, I'm a set it and forget it type guy.
Yeah.
It's just I can't. I got too much going on in my life. Not that I'm this big important guy, but like I do have too much going on to actively look at charts and you know be in the meme in the discords or not even discords in the telegrams and all this other stuff. I just don't have time, and if I don't have time to research and understand what I'm doing, I'm just throwing money to the wind, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I believe in Cardano. I believed in it since I first, you know, heard about it. I love what they do in terms of what do they say? They're document driven. They're what's the specific word I can't remember, but they're very with their papers and all that stuff, which I like. They're taking their time. They're
Yep.
trying to do things right. Like they're not taking the you know the Facebook break things fast or whatever mentality. It's like, but we don't have to break things if we do enough research and do it right the first time. I really think, like I said, I think we're in like the early stages of crypto, right? where things are just growing and they're just starting. And then there's going to be a point where we reach to they're going to be a stage where we reach to a point where nobody even really is talking about the cryptocurrency, the blockchains anymore,
Mhm.
because it doesn't matter. People are talking about these products and these brands that are built on these chains. Um, Jesus, I keep losing my train of
It's
thought.
okay, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
and no, I definitely agree, man. I think Ada will have its time, and to be honest with you, I think people still got to be patient. We're still, like I said, the halving happens. Usually, we'll start seeing like an all time high. Usually, from what the trends say, about like 16 months. I'm sorry, 12 to 16 months right after the halving. That's when we usually see Bitcoin kind of all right. That's it. That's enough. All time high, and then now, will I think it'll come down crashing as an 80-90% correction like it usually has? Probably not
Mm-mm.
this cycle. Honestly, I don't foresee that ever happening again. Maybe like a 50% or 60% drawdown. I do think something like that will happen though, but I don't think it will be that because we have the ETS and everything like that and going on. So I wouldn't think it would be a huge drop down though, but we'll start seeing kind of all time highs. And of course, also run. Meme coins are already running. NFTs, of course, will be the last thing. When you start kind of seeing, in my opinion, uh, Guy brought it up too as well, and I 100% agree with him. Van over there in the Polygon space, when you start seeing kind of like one-on-one art kind of sell like these stupid high prices,
Yeah.
that's probably a time you need to start kind of like getting out and start kind of like winding things down. You know what I mean?
Well, that kind of makes it what the hype is so high on these just individual
Yeah, everybody's buying
memes.
these crazy art pieces and spending like, of course, like remember the board apes, like 100 each floor. I'm like, yeah, it's probably time to start getting kind of out of here and taking some profits off the table though. And we've seen quite a bit of like action actually in the ecosystem besides the ape society leaving. Like, what do you kind of think about the chill kongs kind of coming back?
So, so the thing that's so funny about that is like I don't. It's not like the chill Kongs are coming back. They've been building it. They've been coming back this whole time since they were
Hmm.
acquired. Like the what's his I think something billionaire, the guy
EC
that
billionaire.
yeah, like he's putting in the work and he has been putting in the work. I just think I guess maybe before apes were around, the Kongs were the apes.
Hmm.
They were the derivative bored ape, and I
Yeah,
think people just naturally jump to the past and brought them back up. But people are acting like they haven't been building this entire time. They haven't been developing. They haven't been building the community and trying to push things forward. So I think that's funny that they're saying now is the
yeah.
case.
Now because you started seeing them like they're back and like what I mean. There's a couple of like Undertaker memes like where like the Undertaker
Yeah, yeah,
sits up.
coming out
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. That actually showed it was pretty funny. But I'm like, no, they've been building. They've just been kind of quiet, man. And then of course, I know, man. I'm a sucker. I know, like some things kind of happen, like at the kind of beginning with the acquisition, sale and everything like that, man. But I always like the art, man. I think the
yeah.
art was so brandable. You know what I mean? Like you could do so many things with it. Of course, I have it there at the bottom right there. I don't know, man. It's just really good art. Do you have a couple of Kongs, or are you
So
into Kongs?
yeah, so I minted my Kong, and to this day I still wish I had minted more. Obviously,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I have a Kong, and then obviously the Magic Kong. I bought another Magic Kong, and then I have the Vox Kong of
Ah,
the. I don't know if you see me post it, but I
yeah.
have a Vox Kong that's exactly the same
Mhm.
as my regular Kong, and then I have the as you can see the FOMO hat.
Yeah,
So like
I need to grab one.
I'm very particular about like I'm never selling those
Yeah.
like ever. It's never going to happen unless okay, let's not say never. If somebody came around and was like, "I'll give you 5 million or whatever," some
Oh,
absorbent
of
amount,
course.
of
Yeah, yeah,
course
yeah.
I'm going to sell it. But like, I just yeah, I love the artwork, and it's a very specific type of artwork. It's like the colorful, cartoony, thick lines, which you can see
Yes.
in your thing below us, like the Utes and the D gods, very similar
Mhm.
in art style. I think that's even why D gods is that season 2 or 3.
This is season 3 right at the bottom.
Yeah, so like season 2 was a little bit more intricate in design,
Mhm.
and I guess it was kind of hard to see on your PFP when it's smaller to see the
Yeah.
details. So it makes sense that they went for this more bolder, more like kind of simplistic. That's exactly why like Kong's work so well. I think Boss Cat as well, very similar in art style. So that's why it works as like a PFP. I think they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
What he's building, I think is tremendous. Like if you just go to the website and you go to the I think you can get in without necessarily having holding
Yeah,
a
you just can't
con.
really buy anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't buy it, but you can see like the roadmap of things that they have planned in terms of like just building out this like community with the Kongs. And with the apes gone, do I think there is potential for them to kind of absorb some of that community to grow
Mhm.
them and bring them up? Absolutely. Is it guaranteed? No,
Yeah.
but like I love I love the Kongs. They went through a lot and they're still here. So like I don't know how people can like just constantly shit on that. They didn't leave.
Yeah, no, they didn't leave. No, they definitely not. Like the community stayed, and you know, I'm just glad that that BC got them, and like now that like not saying that they're back though, but I'm like, man, like it's good that we finally like now they're being a little bit more active on the timeline. We're starting to see them now. They actually hold like some spaces, which is weird. I was like maybe like a 5 minute space and then they leave. I don't know what they're doing with that, but I'm like, oh, it
Mhm,
got me too as well though. But also, I do want to talk about Boss Cats, right? Because that's another one
mhm.
that was a huge, huge one. Like, where do you kind of see kind of like Boss Cats going, man? Have you talked about the catnip? Have they kind of like said anything in the Discord? Like, what's kind of the plans of Boss Cats?
So right now it's still build mode.
Hmm.
Every once in a while they'll release some footage or dev test of the app. So
Hmm.
they're concentrating on that. They're building that out, and then from that they're going to start building out the Boss Planet, all things that we've known about. But the thing about the Boss Cat is that they said from the very beginning, the very very beginning, this is a 5-year
Yep.
journey. They said that.
Yep.
So if they're not built in, the fact that they're not doing whatever you're expecting them to be right now means you weren't paying any attention. You weren't
Yes.
here in the beginning. You just jumped in because you knew that they had a high price and you think the price is going to go high and then you're going to sell and then you're going to bounce, like I did that. Don't get me wrong. The things shot from 28 to 2,000 each.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to take some profit, but like I believe in what they're doing, so I have a stack of assets for the project that it's not going anywhere because I believe it enough and I want to see it through and I think they're capable of doing it even if they don't do it in 5 years and they do it in 6 or 7 years. If it's what they envision and they execute on it, and even if it fails, this is the other thing, even if it fails and they've executed it to the T of what they were transparent about, I there's no fault. I cannot blame them. Of course, people are going to say they
Yeah.
wrote blah 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 blah
It
blah.
sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're garbage. They were never. Of course, you could say that, but it's like there's no guarantee of success, no matter how great you are. Task, for example, they were great. They moved. It's not guaranteed they'll continue to be great. They could go down to the bottom. Like you
Mhm.
just never know. But I have conviction. That's why I invested. Sometimes I purchase NFTs. Sometimes I invest in NFTs. I
Yeah.
purchase an NFT. I'm not expecting a return. I invest in an NFT. I respect a return because I believe in the project. So that's where I am with Boss Cat. And honestly, I guess that's kind of my mentality about um, just crypto, the industry, and overall. It's like it's going to take time. People are going to lose. People are going to win. Like, do you know how many internet websites came and went just in like the first couple years
Yeah.
of the internet releasing? Like, you got to give it time. We just live in this world where everybody is getting their TikToks and their Insta this and Insta that. That like waiting a couple years for your portfolio to increase is just it's just not enough. I'm just curious to know what's next. Like, if you were in stocks and that wasn't enough, and you move to crypto and you're in crypto and it's not enough, and you move to meme coins and now meme coins is enough. What the hell's the next thing? What's the next degen thing? Or are we at the bottom?
Honestly, I think it's gonna be a social fi, man. That's like kind of like this weird kind of like fantasy top or the arena, and then you had like friend tech going on. Like I don't know, man. Like we're starting to evolve into these like different, I don't know, like kind of sectors and whatnot. And it's kind of I even sometimes feel it too, to where I'm like I want returns now, 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 and yeah, just I don't know, man. It's gonna be a very weird cycle because I'm anxious to see like is this meme coin craze going to die out because it just has not, like, to be honest, man. It just keeps on like like turning. Like at what point do the and I've talked to some of the projects too as well that are doing things like um who was it? a couple of the projects on Polygon that actually have a quick swap and everything like that, and they do get kind of like pissed off that, not so much pissed off and angry, but they're kind of like, man, like we're building stuff tier two and nobody really pays attention. We have great tech and nobody really kind of cares though. So it's just everybody's more worried about meme coins and flipping and SocialFi and things like that. And yeah, I can see how they can get kind of mad at that. To be honest with you, man, are you kind of feeling the same way? Like, do you wish more people would care about the tech?
Um, yeah, yeah, of course. It would be nice if people cared more about the fundamentals of this thing that they're holding.
Mhm.
But it's like I'm not ever gonna expect it. Like, and I'm not gonna get disappointed. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. It is what it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, yeah, it's just like I said, it's gonna be like a. I'm really to how to see how this next kind of thing like breaks down, especially with the election and things
Mhm.
are going on later in the year. It's gonna be a like crazy time though. But as far as we talked about like Boss Cats, Cho Kongs, and everything like that though. But is there any other projects in the Cardano ecosystem do you feel that needs more of a spotlight?
That needs more of a spotlight.
That yeah, there's a kind of like the kind of underrated. It doesn't really get talked about enough.
Yes, I have one particular one, but I totally understand why they're not really doing all that well.
Mhm.
Well, okay, so they're it depends how you define well, right? So the company the collection I'm talking about is the Earth Natives. Not sure
Mm.
if you ever heard of
No,
them.
actually, yeah, go ahead and break it down.
So what they originally did was that they were building sustainable, like eco-friendly homes and in third world countries, and the
Mhm.
mint was to fund that. So it was very like a humanitarian thing. It's
Yeah.
obviously for profit because they use the money, but it's like, and the art is to me is so cool. I wish I could show you.
You can. You definitely can. Actually, you can share your screen.
Okay. Well, let me get up the right screen before I start sharing screens.
Right? Not the
Uh,
other screen.
yeah. That one. Let's see. JPEG. You know what? I was gonna go to the JPEG store, but now I'm gonna go to wayup.io. No shade. Just wanna rep my boy Cash. Shout out Cash. Earth Natives, Earth Natives. Why are you not here in my favorites?
Oh, shout out to Stay Winning, a podcast that he came on and left a comment, and also my good buddy D Engineer. But good day, buddy. Nice to see you on the show.
All right, share the screen. Window. All right, here we go.
There
So
you
this
go.
is the collection itself. You can see it, right?
Now I can. There you go. Oh wow.
Cool, right? Tell me this isn't like dope, clean, colorful, charismatic, like art for a collection. So their thing was that they released the collection in three sets, right? First was, I can't remember the specific names, but first was the men, the women, and then I think this is like a muskrat, right?
Yeah.
And they minted them all out in stages, and then they used the money to build these sustainable homes. Which, if you go to the Discord, let me go back to myself. Oh, okay, it's both. If you go to the Discord, you can see video footage of them actually out there building these homes, and
Mm.
the the people that are living in the homes being grateful for it. So you could physically see where your investment went. Um, but they haven't really done any marketing. It's like they saw the opportunity, they made some money, they built the house, and that's kind of it. The whole interacting with the NFT culture isn't really there on their side because they're too busy on the other side of the world building these homes. So I just think that they don't get enough shine. Um, but outside of Earth Natives, um, I rep, obviously Boss Cat.
Mm.
I rep Stag Alliance. I rock Ori Mob and the Kongs. But like I think and obviously House of Titans, which I don't have
Shout out to
anything.
Apex though on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Guy
yo,
kept building.
Apex. I don't understand why people still like they still try to
And
drag this dude
he
down,
chugged
man.
along, man. They were killing him, man. They
It's
were killing him like in spaces, and like they were writing threads about Apex and the artwork, and oh man, they were absolutely slaughtering him. And to be honest, man, he's a better person than me because I would have picked up all my shit and left this chain. But no, man, he's still every day. Like I see his posts about Cardano. Like Ada is going to be huge. Just just keep holding. And I'm like, man, damn, dude, that's good on Apex, man. Because like I said, man, I would have told y'all to go to hell, man, if y'all would have freaking wrote this many hit pieces on me.
Yeah, but that's what separates
Yeah.
a good founder and somebody that's just trying to make some money building a project. Like shout out to Apex, like for real.
Yeah, no, definitely. And on that, right, we have of course, like Dirt Birds, Apex, of course, the House of Titans, Stag, Stag Alliance 2 doesn't get talked about enough as well, though. But before I let you go and everything like that, like where do you kind of see the Cardano like kind of like NFT ecosystem? Will it return and be better, or will it be just kind of like what's your kind of opinion on where it's going to go?
Listen, we need more people. At the end of the day, we can only sell so many NFTs to the same group of
Same.
people. You know,
Yeah.
like we need more people in this ecosystem. So, like, if we can come up with an NFT collection that's specific to doing that, or even something outside of NFTs to bring more people in and concentrate in without being dependent on mommy and daddy, you know, Charles
Daddy Charles.
I okay or whatever doing something, then I think we'll be better off. We're just unlucky to have start late. Like obviously it was Bitcoin, then it was Ether,
Mm.
Solana, and then we released later, so we're behind. Like I don't know what people expect. Like I expect as time goes by for us to start growing more and more as crypto as a whole becomes more and more popular, more and more accessible. And when you get to a point like right now, anybody can jump in, create a chain, create up a platform where they can sell and trade meme coins, like and make a lot of money and get a lot of hype because people want to go and make money. Anybody can do that, but it's like the 10 or 15 years after all that, when that gets played out and they don't have much else to offer on the chain, then companies that are looking to actually use a viable option for Web3 are going to actually start paying attention to the blockchains that offer these things. And like I don't I don't know of, and granted, I don't know every single cryptocurrency out there. I don't know
Yeah,
every
of
chain.
course.
I don't. But,
Yeah, you lose your mind.
but I know that ADA is secure. I know
Yep.
that they're pushing for decentralization, which I think at some point soon. I think I'm not sure which upgrade the it's literally decentralized. Like they no longer can do anything to it. It just hold on to your butts, man. Like, what's the
For
worst that can
sure.
happen? This is the thing. If the worst that can happen is you lose everything, then you put way too much in it in
Yep.
the first place. That's
Mhm.
your fault. That's
Yeah.
100% your fault. You're only supposed to put in what you are willing to lose. And if you go beyond that and you lose it all, you don't have the right to bitch.
Yeah.
You just got to put your tail between your legs and
Hey.
just either start again or just beat it, you know?
Yeah, just
But
do what I kind of do. Just say, Jarek, you did it again. You look yourself in the mirror and discuss, and I mean, you're just kind of just there in your room and kind of crying. You fell for. I mean, I got rugged like crazy on base too as well. So
mm,
I only have someone to blame as yourself though. So it was kind of like that self-loathing moment though. But no, Invest. I appreciate you kind of coming on the show though, and kind of like before you go though, like kind of I want to ask you, like, how are you going to actually like help onboard people to Cardano? Like, what are some of the things you're going to be? Are you going to be on more spaces? Are you going to create some video content? Like, what are you going to be doing personally, like this year?
so for me, in terms of so I never set out to be this guy that's like trying to bring the hordes of people to
Mm-hmm.
Cardano, because I don't think that's an individual effort. I think that's a collective effort,
Mm-hmm.
um, by everybody just staying positive and creating a fun environment. What I'm trying to do is bring fun into for the people that are here, because like you said, things are sometimes down. So like every once in a while, like I do a thing called Battle of the Traits, where we kind of like I pick, 8 different collections, and we kind of do a thing where they compete against each other on a particular trait. I have one that I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks. That's the King's Crown, so it's going to be 8 collections competing, all with crown traits. Who's got the best crown trait?
Mhm.
And then and now I feel like I'm just like self promoting, but like this is what I'm doing.
Hey, that's
And
exactly what you got to do.
then Degen Alley, here I got a pen.
There you go.
Degen Alley
Uh-huh.
is I totally believe one of the ways that we can like increase NFT adoption is through fashion, which sounds ridiculous coming out of my mouth, but like for me, I've always wanted to rep my NFTs, but like they're digital, and if I plan on walking around with my phone out like this or on a chain like
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
like I really there's no tangible real world value of having that thing. So I was like, but it would be cool if I had an NFT where one of the traits is something that I can bring into the real world and rock every single day. So that's my way of representing the company. So I want to represent the collection. So like that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like I want people to be able to wear like the D God City a collaboration T-shirt that looks like that,
Mhm.
or the sunglasses from a Utes, like very specific, and they're probably already doing that. But it's like I would love to just go collection to collection and just like build this up so you see this out in the real world. The reason why you don't see a lot of adoption is because it's not in your face. Like we're not seeing it on an everyday basis, and this might not be the answer, but I think it could help a little bit when people are feeling good about what it is they're wearing. And you never know, you might have a conversation with somebody about
Oh
it.
yeah.
They say, "Where's that hat from?" And they say, "Oh, it's from Boss Cat. It's on Ada." And oh, what's Ada? Blah, blah. Like it's giving opportunities to have the conversation to introduce people into the ecosystem. And I think fashion can do that. So I guess those are really my way. And I think my overall overarching way is just like being positive. Like I try my best to be as positive as I can. I'm a human. Of course, I get angry, I get mad, I get frustrated, I curse. But
Mhm.
like when it comes to social, when it comes to being online, I try to put my best foot forward. I try to be understanding because that's all they know of me. And I want to represent my real self in that world. And I think if more people did that, there would be less just like shitting on collections or people because they don't really understand. Like I don't know. I just think if we take ownership of our actions, if we realize this is not an overnight success type of thing, and we just try to be better and just nicer and more open to each other, especially when having conversations, I think that's going to be that's the best step forward. And then once it's a welcoming environment, then people are going to start coming in and be like, oh, the I don't know, the Kongs having this crazy thing going on, and I wanted to go check it out, and that's really cool, and then Ada, blah blah blah. That's what I'm saying. Like you attract more people with honey than I don't know the rest of that saying.
Vinegar.
Yeah, than vinegar.
Yeah.
So like, just be sweet as hell, and I think it'll help it'll help it grow.
No, I appreciate you investing. I appreciate you coming on the show. And guys, it's going to wrap our show here. This live stream, we have another one later on with the Dirt Birds. But I appreciate you, buddy. And if you like content like this, guys, please like, comment, share. Follow Investronaut 2 as well on X as well. And I will see you guys around in the next one. Take care. Peace.